It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
We on a mission and that's bringing y'all the truth. You know the problem, but we get into the root. The devil watching, yeah, he always on pursuit. But Jesus is our rock, so we shall not be moved. We on a winning team, so we can't lose. We say facts, cause we hitting y'all with proof. Started from the bottom, now we standing on the roof. As God as our witness, we gon' make it to the moon. When you want the truth, the world be hiding it. This the real word, we providing it. We got Ace, BK, Truth, Rick Star, and we plan to make a movie like it's Pixar. We came a long way from the plantation. We just tryna save your souls from damnation. So if you down with the message, tune in every week. It will lead you to the message that you seek.
It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
Therealword Season 8, Episode 15. Shout out to everybody who's been watching. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting. Shout out to everybody that's helped us to get this far so far. I'm here with my co-host. Introduce yourself.
It's my boy BK Truth, 1991, Kimmel Hall, you know, your favorite Brooklyn native. How we doing?
All right. And we're here with two familiar faces. Introduce yourself. I don't know if you want to go first.
Martin Addo from Southbridge Fitness Center. Blessings upon blessings, families. It is the greatest honor and the greatest joy to be here today to bring the message of truth and love. We are so glad to share the message.
It's good to see you back, man.
As always, brother, from the last time.
Yes.
And cannot be glad enough to have us here all in together today.
Yeah. And we have another recurring guest, familiar face in the building.
Jaquan Johnson.
Hey, everybody in the club getting tears.
How's y'all today?
Alright. And as you can see, we're in a new location. Tell us where we at, Addo.
All families, that is what I just said. That the first day when Jaquan introduced me to our brother, he just opened his door and he says, Mr. Addo, you not just have our platform, but you are a brother. And so today, here he is at his own place, and I have used the word. This is his own place. And so families and friends, here we are at 322 Myrtle Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, the home of Spike Lee. And we are so glad to be here with the entire team.
Yes, you see, family's important, teamwork.
Alright. So shout out to everybody that's here. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting. So Kimmel had something he wanted to speak on today.
Oh, dang, what was it again?
Commitment.
Oh, yeah.
This guy forgot already.
Well, we was just talking about Labor Day, so that popped into my head, too.
Oh.
I wanted to find out who else was on the parkway if people still afraid of Labor Day.
That's what I'm trying to think.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about commitment.
So a lot of people getting married. I went to 3 weddings last year, 1 this year so far.
I just went to one this weekend, and I ain't gonna lie, this one was, you know, I felt like one of the doubters of the whole thing. I'm gonna be honest about that. I was a doubter.
Why you say that?
Cause you know, I was trying to find out the story. I didn't know the story, so I was from the outside looking in, and the guy is very shy, so he didn't really speak much. I was like, I don't know why she talked to him. Like I didn't. You know, so when everyone's giving the wedding speeches and everything, I'm there in the background, you know, drunk off my wine, asking for, tell me a story, tell me a good story. You know, and everyone's keeping it so secret. It's like, oh, he's been there from the beginning. I'm like, the beginning of what?
Did you know the bride or the groom?
I know the bride more so. I didn't know the groom too much. I mean, I've seen him twice. We went out, you know, to family events and he was there, but he's always, you know, to himself, so I don't really hear him speak much.
Wow. So far,
yeah,
I have not been invited to any wedding so far yet.
What? No.
I am preparing on my own, putting mine together, but of course it's always going to be the African style,
I want to be the
local, traditional way, and I know a lot of people are definitely waiting for the day and the announcement and all of it. Of course, it's going to be sooner or later on it, but first we have to do the traveling back home to the motherland first and to introduce the entire families onto the families. That is how it's done back home. And so tradition continue to exist. And culture is the key.
I hope I get an invite, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Now with technology and things, a lot of things, in case we are not able to get to other places, what we use, as we are using this platform right now. And this platform, we strongly believe in it. It's powerful and it goes places.
I'm excited, man. I always wanted to be, you know, more connected to the African culture. I feel like I didn't really get opportunities to, you know. Usually it's American, you know. So
the European culture.
Yeah, the European ways. So definitely want to see what this is gonna feel like.
Wow, that is.
I already know the music already got me bumping. Afro type of beats, you know.
The food is good too.
Yeah, see it? It just might be connected to our soul. It just might just be like, oh snap, this is what we wanted this whole time, you know. So I'm excited about that. Speaking of commitment, you said you got to go back home. I was watching an African movie on Netflix.
Coming to America?
Nah, not that. I watched that like 4 times. I'm not gonna lie. I love the second one. I love the second one. I can't lie.
That is my favorite of all time.
Really?
Messi coming to America.
See?
Oh my God.
I can't lie.
And that is why I even came to America.
Really?
I said, I got to go to Queens. I look for my Miss America. And I said, wow. Then I wasn't going to get married. I'll wait until when I get to America.
Wow.
I'll look for my Miss America.
Influence.
And so, Eddie Murphy, thank you for that. And I give it to you.
The vibe
my
in that
name,
movie.
Kunte, and all that he did. Yeah.
The vibe in that movie is real.
Incredible.
The one I saw recently, because after that movie, it made me want to look for more of them. They had one on Netflix, The Wedding Party 2. It's just to run it down. It was a funny intro because the guy proposed to the woman by accident. He went to a fancy restaurant. He's sitting with the girl. She thought he was gonna propose. It's only been like 9 months though they're together.
White people get engaged.
But this was an African movie. That's why it was funny to me because it was like he saw someone else proposing and he got rejected. So he was like, oh, you're a fool. Why would you propose here? Everybody could see that coming. And then he threw the ring on the floor. So he went to go pick up the guy's ring. The guy walked away. He left the ring on the floor. He picked up the ring. And his girl came from the bathroom and she was like, yes. Yes. He was like, wait, what? She was like, yes, I'll marry you. And then everyone started clapping. He just went with it. So he didn't even mean to propose. Wow. So the whole movie...
Wait, did the ring fit?
Yeah.
He fit the ring.
Well, I'm not really too sure. They didn't really show the putting on the ring. But pretty much, she saw a ring. She said yes. And everyone started clapping. And he just like, okay.
Peer pressure?
Yeah. So he tells his friends...
I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Yeah, it's a funny. I'm trying to find the first one, but this is the second one. They have it on Netflix. But he has to take, and she is a white woman, so he has to take her back home to the islands, and they were giving it to his parents because they were white parents, and they was like, "You're gonna marry a Nigerian man? What is with you and Nigerians? Why do you like them so much?"
Hey, jungle fever. Yeah,
that's the Nigerian power. Yes.
Well, they changed their whole family because when they went to Nigeria, they was definitely enjoying the vibes, you know, the traditions and everything.
Absolutely.
That's almost like when they go to Jamaica to hedonism.
Oh yeah,
in the grill.
Yeah.
So you know that's why I'm like, you know, what is the commitments? What is the commitment standards out there? Because I feel like now I feel people who get married out here, some of them just by, you know, just cause.
I think it's been like that for a while, but marriage has always been something political, and in America it's more so you're conducting business because you go to the government, you obtain a contract stating that you and this person are conducting business and commerce together. I.e., example, why you have to file taxes together. All the money that you guys brought in together, you file jointly and you
Like
pay on it.
Corporations.
Yeah.
Corporation merge.
You are, because you're taking two socials and you're merging it as one.
Literally, yeah.
And the man is the head of the household, so he's the chairman of the household.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
CEO.
I tell everyone, especially us, business owners and small businesses, we work for the government. We are the tax collectors.
Yeah.
We collect taxes and we give it to the government.
Yeah.
And that is how the government is able to survive. So small businesses are very, very important in the community. And also to add to what you just said.
Yeah, now that you said that, I'm thinking did marriage become more, business than love and...
Absolutely. That is the word I say.
You learn to love someone either way.
True.
Because
you pick up on...
I'll give you guys an example, right? When you meet someone for the first year or 2 or 3, you really don't really know them. Most marriages, 25, 30, 40, 50 years, we don't see that anymore because the people were willing to make that commitment.
Every time I hear it, I'm like, what is the secret?
Because you were willing to make that commitment for however long. And then also the children was a huge investment. The house most of the time, the cars, the things that you were able to build together.
That's when prenups started becoming more popular.
Yeah, which is another legal agreement.
Splitting it halfway.
Yeah, so all of those have to...
I have a whole different perspective about it, and I continue to tell people that in the future I'm going to write my book about marriage, relationship, family, the society and the community and all that. There is not what could be considered a marriage. There is nothing that could be considered a real love, because who gives the love? We individuals that are here on this planet giving love to what extent. And what is love? The definition of it that we want to give. We have none, and so we can give none. It's just accepting people at where they are, at their level, is what the world needs to concentrate on so that nobody will get hurt. Because you don't go in to expect anything. And if you don't expect anything,
you can't be disappointed.
You cannot be disappointed or discouraged on anything. And so, very simple. But love people as people, not I'm loving you because you are my wife. There is nothing like that. And there is not even like anything like a wife. It's agreed between you and I for this moment, because this moment could cut off within that second as we discuss it, because anything that there is an answer to it also have a question mark also to it also at the same time. So we are looking into the positive, the negative, and in overall you summarize it into the Almighty's perspective, is understanding on society, the people that lives within that society, and what is being governed them. Are they being governed by themselves, or it is his rule, his principle that is being governed by them? So it's deep and it's good that men, as we are sitting here discussing about this, very, very important. So I truly.
So what makes you commit, man? We're gonna get straight to it.
I was watching Game of Thrones the other day, and basically the king's wife died during childbirth. And so they was telling him like he needs to marry as soon as possible in order to protect the realm and his succession, because he didn't have a male heir at the time. He had a female heir, and no one wanted a female heir at all. So ultimately, they proposed him to marry a 12-year-old because the 12-year-old's father was the richest person in the whole place, and he's like, yeah. He has to be loyal to his crown and do what's best for the kingdom, for the people. But it was like by marrying a 12-year-old, and the 12-year-old said, my mother told me, don't let you bed me until I'm 16. And then he ended up marrying another girl who was his daughter's best friend, who was 16, 17 at the time.
Wow.
And then he told his daughter, it's time, because his daughter was arguing back and forth with him. He was like, I did what I had to do for for my countrymen, but what are you doing for the kingdom? Because you are at an age and you have to help solidify the crown politically by you getting married too. And then he gave her like 2 years to find who she wanted to marry, and she was like, whatever, like just going about whatever. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna make you marry the same 12-year-old girl's older brother. He was like, you gonna marry him because he has the dragon blood going through his veins, and he has the sea snake going through his veins. So he has two powerful houses. If our houses join, then we become even more popular. And even to bring it in modern time, Jay-Z, he was talking about Ghostface, how Ghostface said, my seed marries your seed that marries my seed, and that's how we build legacy. We keep the money within us, similar to the Jewish people do, you know? So we see that it is a highly political thing, because you wouldn't want to be rich and then marry someone who's quote-unquote poor, and then you fall in love and you get finessed and they walk away with half. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. So you don't want to get caught up in that situation. I think it's best that you commit to those that commit with you, because it's almost like you under contract with someone else. Once one of the parties violate the contract is null and void. It voids the contract. Yeah. It's almost like if me and you was married and you walk out or you cheat, like, sure, I'm gonna cheat too. Like, you know, it is what it is. What I'm gonna do? Sit home and beat off? Like, you know, that's just the reality of the situation, and that's with any contract. And we see that with Ray J recently with Kim Kardashian and Kanye. That's a perfect example.
Yeah, I see that too.
Whereas like Ray J is saying like, yo, like we had this.
Drink to Kim K.
Yeah, we had this contract.
She had gone through a lot.
Yeah.
That's not just a figure of speech.
Yeah, but basically he was saying like they had a contract together and she voided the contract. So since she voided it first, he could talk about the contract. Another example was Kanye, who was actually married to her after that whole entire contract happened.
I don't know how he did that, but
emphasis on the whole entire contract. But then, like, you know, the judge declared her legally single, even though she was behaving single prior to being declared legally single. So we see how, like,
while she was single? I mean, while she was with Kanye, she was declared legally single?
No, she was declared legally single when she started messing with that guy.
That other guy.
Yeah, the other guy. Yeah, no one remembers his name.
How you with Kanye but declared legally single?
I forget his. You see, no one remembers his name.
Because he made it a good 3-something months. How many months did he make it?
I think 9.
Almost
in the baby car.
I had to go see some people like therapists.
In the baby car, yes, I see there are rules of engagement where they are all supposed to be going for counseling before any of such things.
Yeah, before marriage.
How our great grandmothers, our ancestors, years, they were able, because I saw my grandfather, I saw my grandmother, I was the one who was even walking him to his house, though they were living in the house, but my grandfather had about 4 or 5 houses. But then, so he comes and eats his dinner, and then after I have to walk him to his other house because he was blind on it.
He had that many wives?
Yeah.
One at each house?
Yes, they could, at that time I know of 2, because there were 2 of my grandmothers. Both were all my grandmothers. I love them all. And then he comes to eat here, he finishes, I walk him to the other house, and
he eat again?
And he goes and eats there.
He has no choice.
Yeah.
You gotta eat everywhere. You gotta keep them all satisfied.
You gotta eat my food here and eat the cassava and other things, and then he goes to that place and drinks soup.
I'm just saying, you got a big appetite.
It wasn't even about the food. Now I grew up, I understand all they were doing. He was checking in on the children. Not even the woman, because the woman, they have finished, you know, but checking on the children. And that is how the grandfathers were able to keep law and order in all the various places. And that is
by going to the house.
With our station that we have, that I feel we could be of great influence and also a great advocate to the community and the society about bringing our African tradition, our African system of living, style of living, that we understand this is America, we understand Africa, third world country. No idea, no system, nothing. Yes, but there are some gifts from those places that I feel could contribute towards even here, the first world country and all of those places. And so as we are sitting here discussing, we have recognized that the brothers here and the brothers that are from back home, there are separations among us here, which we are not like this together.
We should be.
Either our brothers here see our brothers back from home, like people like me from home, like, okay, they are from Ghana or they are from the motherland. We were also brought here 400, 600 years ago, but we are the original from here. So there is that type of thing between us. And so men need to work upon themselves first before we can even make any attempt of even going out to look for a woman. Because I have a daughter, I have a 14 or 15-year-old. I said, Nana, you bring any boy to me, he's going to do a push-up. He's going to do a plank. He's going to do this. He's going to do 50 push-ups. And the boys know me so much, and they know that Addo doesn't know how to play basketball. So the ones that are smart at the game, they take me to the basketball court to go and teach me how to play basketball. Hey, I play basketball with you. Come on, I can have access to the girl. That is the best way to connect. So I'm not saying that for all the other guys to go and do, but you got to understand where you are at that moment. There will be a time and opportunity, and it will be up to you. Yes. So.
Now I'm gonna get spicy, cause my dad, he had he grew up kind of wild. I'll say he didn't meet his father until he was 18, so. He grew up kind of on these streets, He said to himself, he was just a horn dog. He came on the show a couple times and told people that.
He cool, I like
What I find interesting is, growing up, I was one of the children that lived in New York and he lived in Florida. So growing up, I never thought my dad was wrong. Everyone's like, oh, you're supposed to have American style is you're supposed to have one woman and one family, all that outside family stuff is wrong. But, strangely enough, instinctively, I didn't think he was wrong. I just told him, I felt we was just too far. Like how you said the grandfather went to each house. I felt like I would have been okay if my father was able to come to the house more. I didn't need him there every day, but I felt it was needed that he should have showed up more. Like, like you said, checking in. That was one thing I felt like I don't think it's wrong in the sense of if a man got multiple wives or multiple women and multiple children from multiple women. I think it's more important, like you said, he has to be able to check in, govern, and set the rules.
And provide.
Yeah. That's what I felt. So, I mean, even though I grew up in America, I can say I don't think the style of America makes sense to me instinctively. It doesn't seem like it from my perspective, any man that ever tied down to one woman, I feel like they always felt piece of them has been taken away.
So you feel that monogamy is a lie?
Restricting. I feel like it's restricted. Yeah, I don't feel like it's natural because it's like a natural man wants to hunt,
What about for women? What about for women now?
Women don't even feel that though. Women don't feel like they need multiple men. Like men feel like they need multiple.
Some women feel like they do. One man can satisfy her.
But then again, they got stuff in the food.
Majority women do not, and I agree with you what you're saying, my brother. Do not think men. We are soldiers ready. Action. Men think 99% of right women, and for that, women do not think of that. Women way of affectionate holding, talking to them, calling them, checking on them. That is their way, according to based on what my experience at my age. I understand somebody who say, hey, I don't understand. You're in your 50s. Listen, I'm 70 something plus 20 something years experience. What are you talking about? I understand, but as we said it, our own individual experience on it, so that you can make your own judgment and assumption. What we are discussing here is based on what we know, and so we want you who is watching and also to listening, please, is based on what we know and understand, so that you can make your own decision and judgment on that. And This is men speaking boldly. Usually they say men don't speak about such issues, and this is men hold on tight, and men it's a macho. But here you are, strong macho men speaking. 4 or 5 strong macho men sitting here speaking about everything. And so
our philosophy is, it's gonna stay the same. Men are keys and women are locks. A key that can open a bunch of locks is a master key. He gets congratulated for being able to open all these locks.
A janitor.
A lock that gets opened by a bunch of keys is a useless lock. You want the lock to be secure. You want it to only have one key. It shouldn't be opened by so many keys. What is it protecting?
Hypothetically, you would want that. But in reality and this false reality that we create in our minds is 2 different things. Like women love to fornicate. Women love sex just as much as men, and women cheat just like men cheat, bro.
Or even more.
We just don't catch them. Most of the time we don't care because we trying to have sex with something else, or like they just so sneaky that we don't know. Because for us, as long as we get the punani and we get to eat at night, and we good, as long as the house is clean
and the kids is good.
Yeah, you don't even think about all that. You know, so it's like, come on, man. Like one thing that I've realized as I gotten older, like as I gotten older and I speak to older men, like a lot of them, like
they don't care what they was.
They talk about it. They're like, yeah, like if you've been with someone 25, 30 years, bro, like y'all both cheated a couple times.
Yeah.
Don't
like,
say that,
come on, bro. Like, let's be honest with ourselves.
I mean, yeah.
I want to stay in my bubble now. I'm gonna stay in my fantasy.
Right. So we'll talk to some old dudes. He'll tell you.
We need people to call in. We need people to call in.
We're the old dudes. Message me, because I'll
call in and
he's trying to break my bubble here. It's not true.
We can't say much.
He's thinking like, is it gonna be me or is it gonna be her?
I had one of my OGs tell me, right? Like I had one of my OGs tell me, and he's like 50 something, maybe even 60 now, and he said that at one time his wife went missing. He went to go look for her, and he sent the whole party out to go look for her. And when he went to look for her,
damn, listen, how long? Bless.
Thank you. Maybe a day or 2.
Oof.
He said he found her in a hotel room with another man.
Oh my God.
And
Murder.
Yes, that's murder. That is the right word. That is.
And he told her, get dressed.
Is tough.
This
He
is
said-
where you call them all together.
He said he told her get dressed and come along, and then he took her home. And I said, why'd you do that? He said the Bible says, men, treat your wives like Christ treated the church. Love your wife like Christ loved the church, and make her clean by washing her with the word. And when he said that, I said, what do you mean? He said, think of the church. That's where all the most dirtiest people go. You know, the people with the most issues, the dirtiest, sickest people, they go to church.
Prayed for her?
And Christ shed his blood and washed him with the word and made her clean, and he received his bride, which is the church. And he was like, that's the same thing you gotta do with the woman. He said the Bible does not say for a woman to love the man, it says for the man to love the woman.
Oof. Now you're getting spicy.
And when he said it, I was a bit confused until I read the scripture myself, and I really started to understand, like, because ultimately it was the church that killed Christ. The church came with the state, and they killed Christ, and they went.
They kind of snitched on him.
And they went before Pontius Pilate 3 times before they decided to kill him, really. You understand? And it was the church that wanted to kill him because they couldn't stand the man. So
jealous envy.
So when you sit back and you look at all of history and the women that you ever been with, like, bro, don't be too more successful than a woman. She gonna hate your guts. She gonna be like, what about me? What about my identity? What do people think about me? I feel like I'm in your shadow all the time. Like,
they don't want to be in your shadow. Well, especially nowadays.
They don't.
Society has built a swagger to the woman where she thinks that she can do it all by herself.
Yeah, the only way it will really, the only way I seen, if you think about the traditional household, like I'm gonna use my grandfather for an example, because he had my grandmother pregnant and someone else pregnant at the same time. My grandfather ended up giving my grandmother, I think, 9 kids, but he had, I think, 11 or 12 total. And he was telling me a story in front of my grandmother, and she just laughed. And he said the same.
Let's be honest with the woman.
Yeah, and he said the same thing that you said. He said, find someone that loves you for you, that's gonna accept you for you, because you're never gonna be perfect, and there's never gonna be perfect. But if the person's willing to work with you and willing to stay by your side, then it's gonna have longevity. But the thing about today, people are so instant that they're quick to quit. And especially back home where you from, it's easier, less distractions. There's no apps where you could talk to girls and pick up girls. You can't go to Pennsylvania Ave and pick up a prostitute. So
it's
not like that.
accessible out here. It's very easy to find millions of different faces to look at.
Yeah, like you break up today, you sleep with someone tomorrow, or you go to a bar,
Instant gratification.
I tell you.
Yeah, you go to the bar, you go to the club.
Go there, the first thing I said, who's been checking my Instagram? As soon as I open it, pow.
It do be like,
yeah.
open the phone,
That is why I don't go there.
You see, he knows.
Yes, I see on Facebook.
Facebook is more safe. It's people that you know. It's people you know.
I only just want to go and post and run right back. I stay there too long. I don't know.
You gonna see him
of eating.
Yeah. All you gonna see is big booty.
And I say, are they watching me?
Oh, they watching? Yes, they know.
Right, well,
They know what you like.
They know.
Yes.
They know.
So,
If you go to Explore page, you're gonna see his fast cars and big booty. Like, this is what you want.
Shoot, like you said, technology is kind of making it very hard to stay committed, man.
Bro, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got
Snapchat.
you got Snap.
Snapchat is like
Yeah,
Tinder.
you got Tinder, Black, Bumble, Facebook dating app. Like,
I ain't gonna
all
hold
these
you. I'm gonna
things.
be front up. There's a 3-way app, man. You could get a third partner. They got an app for that. They got a couple.
There's a Cougar app, Sugar Baby app, Sugar Mama apps.
They got apps for everything, like if you wanna, like, I'll be okay being the third wheel. Like,
There's the app for affairs. If you want to have an affair,
there's an app for
yes, there's an app for
There's
affairs.
probably an app for divorce.
well, I think we have to go back to
Africa.
the roots
traditional things.
to be able to fix some of this and to be able to also rectify and to bring awareness into how our people were able to handle it during their time. I understand technology and we're in the year 2022, but there were people who had been here for 200 years, 300 years, 400 years. How did they do it and how were they able to handle it? I mean, we don't even want to go too far. I think we could just go 70, 80 years or 85 years ago to see what my grandmother, great grandmother and all of these people did. How, as you said, were they able to live together? You know how? Having 3 even wives or 4 wives and live together peaceful
And
happily
smiling
on it.
Yeah.
You know how it was?
And
Most
so-
people only had one TV in their house, and most people only had one phone on the wall or on the table. That's how it was.
Everybody, everybody,
Yes.
everyone got access to the world.
People could track you now from their
Oh.
phones.
Yeah, my
They know
location.
exactly where you at.
My wife do that now.
I check my phone now. It's just on.
That always backfires. I ain't gonna hold
It's
you.
just on.
That always backfires.
What you gonna do?
Gotta disable it
I
for 24 hours.
They
weaponize it.
I gave my phone to someone from one of the stores. I didn't even give him my password. The guy was able to open it. He said, I don't need your password.
Yeah.
I can just go through any phone on
geez.
it. I can just be standing close to you and still go into your phone
Wow.
on it. I said, let me
AirDrop,
open
all
it for you. He
That
said,
you
you don't
don't
need
really
to.
know
He was
about
able to
technology.
open it. He fixed what I needed to fix. He said, here, take your phone back. Go.
He's a federal agent.
Disrespectfully.
Stay away from
This
him.
is right by your side like this.
He's a
and
federal
open
agent.
your
He
phone.
knows too much.
Oh my God.
Yeah, stay away from him. It's dangerous.
He's well connected. You gotta watch out.
He has a
They
binary
fix
code. He
phones
just types
in
in.
Manhattan and
Zeros
he
and ones.
is
Yeah, it's
one of
just
the
a
express one. It's just I can't tell you. People think they have code on.
It's the real word. It's the real word.
Shout out to everybody for watching. Shout out to everybody for supporting. Shout out to everybody for watching The Real Word. This is The Real Word Season 8,
Welcome to the gang
Episode
episodes.
16.
We gonna talk spicy. Right?
So we're gonna do like a recap of all the other episodes, and then we also gonna talk about some new things here and there. Shout
fitness,
to
man. Fitness. We're gonna talk about some fitness.
Facts. Shout out to everybody for supporting. Shout out to everybody for subscribing on YouTube. That's www.youtube.com/therealwordtv. The Real Word TV, one word on YouTube. You can check us out on podcast, Spotify, Soundcloud, Pandora, and Apple Podcasts, everywhere podcast is found. And also check us out on www.therealwordministriesinc.org. That's therealwordministriesinc.org. You can donate and check out the work that we've been doing. I'm here with my co-host. Introduce yourself.
Man, you be making me run out of breath. I'm keeping up like Hey man, it's Kimmel. I wanted to ask you why you call me co-host, man. You know.
Alright, so what you want to be called?
I feel like partner, you know. I'm your partner, man.
Alright.
I'm co-host. I feel like I'm staring. I'm not in the airplane, you know, sitting there, man.
Alright.
But yeah, it's Kimmel. BK Truth, 1991. I need some tech help, man. I need somebody who wants to help me with my social media. I can't keep up with it, man. I got other things right now. I got a new baby. Yeah.
Yeah, social media is a whole job sometimes.
Yeah, that shit is, man.
What's the hardest thing about social media for you?
I have like this. I feel, you know, young and old, bro. I feel.
Tell me about
young and old in the sense of, man, like I know the old generation, traditional ways, you know, social media. Why you put all your business out there? I'm even thinking of Caribbean people, how they like, oh, you know, the internet is bad, don't talk to strangers. Now we're in a complete time where you talk to strangers regularly. Ubers and everybody is, even Fiverr, people you work with is like people you don't live with. But, you know, it's okay to talk to them now. Before, so when it comes to social media, I'd be like, do I really want to put myself out there, you know, or you know, Korean people be like, oh, you know, no, don't put everybody in your business. Don't let everybody in your business. With social media, people who make money is people who record all the time and put everybody in their business.
Yeah, facts. But how do you feel about it?
I feel right there in the middle where I'm like, I gotta pick a way. So the way I'm gonna pick is, you know, before you join social media, create a list of principles and things that you go by.
But you was already on social media. What are you talking about?
But I feel like I wasn't fully myself on social media.
What do you mean by
like
that?
I was, you know, I didn't want to invite people to, you know, this musical idea that I had.
Okay.
Like I'm making a track and, you know, I'm saying things that I feel. But I didn't want to put it out there for everybody to know how I feel. I didn't want to invite them into that conversation I was having with myself in that moment.
But you control that narrative, though. It's like, it's almost like they say the person that you put out to the public is a creative player, a person that you've made up and you're like, yeah. And you give it to the public.
But you know, I feel, you know, when you were young, you feel the idea of, you know, you're just out there just going with the flow. You know, you're just moving. But as I get older, I'm noticing that you kind of have to dictate the flow, you know. You kind of, like you said, create the narrative. But when you're younger, you don't think about creating a narrative. You kind of just following the narrative, like your family and people around you. They kind of influencing what you like and what you are going to be your habits. And when you get older, you kind of realize that, oh shoot, well I don't know if it's older, but kind of like the internet, and it's a sense of, you know, oh man, I got to, like, you know, create my own image. I got to paint myself, you know, I got to show people what I think of myself, you know. Emily, who, my daughter, who's, you know, 8, she's into it, you know, she's trying to be, you know, she's like, I'm going to be talented at this. I'm going to show people I'm talented at this. Well, I want to do this too. And, you know, she already got things that she like. And in a sense, I'm telling her this is like a job. Once you get into social media, like, you're going to be working. Like, so it's weird, you know. I don't want her to get into it too soon. Kind of want her to create her principles about herself. So when she's revealing herself on social media, she can be prepared for anything social media throws back.
So let me ask you a question, right? A person like me that shares a lot on social media, what image do you think I have created for myself publicly?
To me, you strong, bro. You carry you know, a lot on your heart, you know, but it's you know, I mean, this is me and you for years. We've been talking for years, so I'm telling you this, like, you carry, you know, so much on your heart, but you still, like, strong for the family in a positive way. That's, like, the most important thing with social media. I'm like, you have to make sure when you go into it, you go to it with a positive way, you know, because, you know, you don't want your child to already have, you know, history of acting out, you know, we want them to go out there and be ready to, you know, represent the family. And if my whole family's telling me don't go on social media and be like that, then it's like, I gotta go against my own family to make this way for my family.
But when you say go on social media, in what way do you mean? Like, you have to explain it, because we're on social media right now, like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, like that's social media platform.
Well, I mean, for like myself, you know, like some people come, they can, you know, come for that one episode, but to do it consistently every time, like I said, like you've been doing, you've been representing consistently every time, like that's something that I had to, you know, realize. For consistency is not something I got to, you know, grow up too much with, other than with my mother and you as a brother. This is me being heart to heart with you. So I learned, you know, friends or family can be, you know, people you work with and people you want to see consistently. Like Dan, like we were talking about before the show, Dan Pina was saying, I respect that guy, so I'm gonna shout him out. He said, you know, I could tell where you're going based off of your friends. And that's another thing, you know, raising a kid, social media influences her friends, so you have to make sure she's teaching other kids good habits so they teach good habits, and it keeps going. Man.
One thing I've been struggling with is that, you know, the bigger things is getting, the more, I would say, intrusive it's becoming, as in, like, the fact that I'll go, right, the other day I went to my daughter's orientation, I'm sitting there and some guy was like, yo, a card? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, what's up, bro? And then I dap him up, and then I'm sitting down at orientation, and he's like, oh, man, it's like, he's mad happy. And so afterwards, I'm like, yo, I gotta find out, like, where I know this guy from, because the whole time I'm thinking, like, who is this nigga? Like, so I'm like, yo, bro, where I know you from? Like, you went to school with me or something? He was like, yeah, I think so, but I be seeing you on Facebook, I be seeing you online, bro, like, you be doing your thing, alright, bro. He be like, damn, and then his girl look at him like, what the hell is going on with you?
So why you acting like a fan right now?
Yeah, and it's like, that happens a few times. It's like,
but that's love, though, in a weird way. That's love, though.
I recently started a new job, right? And, like, I got an office, so I don't gotta really interact with other people in there unless I really gotta interact with them, or unless they come into the office. So I be chilling most of the time. It helps me create barriers, and it also helps me to create boundaries. So it's like, all right, this is my space, this is your space, and, you know,
that's your principle.
Yeah, we just gonna have respect for one another. That is what it's gonna be. Like I work to deserve this, so you gotta respect it. So if you come in, you gotta show respect. So I just played the cut, and it's like they finding ways. And one of the things is, like, I've been hearing a lot that they're Googling me. So it was like one day they was like, yo, you a pastor? I was like, a pastor? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you a pastor? I said, nah. Like, I'm the director here. I'm social worker. They're like, nah. We saw you preaching. I was like, when you see me preaching now, what are you talking about? They was like, on YouTube, like, we found you. And I'm like, yo. I was like, huh? And I'm like, all right. He's like, all right. He's like, yeah, I've been watching. It's good. It's all right.
What are you playing with them for? He's like, nah.
And then, like, another person, yo, yeah, I seen your Instagram. I'm like, my Instagram? And then it's like, every day, it's like, yeah, I Googled you. I'm like, yo, it's crazy. And it's like, I preached a sermon Saturday, and I titled it, We Know You Too. And it was based upon, like, the Israelites were going into Canaan, but they had to cross into Jericho, so they had to break down the walls of Jericho. Like, you remember Chris Jericho? He had to move the walls of Jericho. That's where you get it from. So it's like, when they went in, they stopped off at like a brothel, a whorehouse, and there was a whole living there. And then Rahab, and the people of the town basically found out that there were spies that the Israelites sent into town. So when they came looking for them, they came by the host house. It was like, yo, where they at? We know that they're here. We heard that they was here. She's like, nah, they passed through, but they not here.
That's when being too connected to the underground pays negative.
Yeah, and then she hid them. So because she was like, I'm gonna hide you on my roof, but you gotta make a promise that you're gonna save me when y'all come through, because we've heard about you. Like we heard about you. We heard about your God. We heard about what y'all did when y'all crossed the Red Sea and y'all beat Pharaoh. We heard about all of that. So if you could save me, my mom, my dad, my sisters, my brothers, and everything that we have, then I'll help you out right now. And they was like, all right, cool, we're gonna save you. and then they was like, but make sure they all in the crib when we come through, because if they're in the street, they're gonna die. But if they're in the house, they're gonna be good. She said, all right, so stay on the roof, then go in the case for 3 days. After 3 days, go to where you at, and then you'll be good. And so when they came, they saved her. When they saved her, like she was a prostitute before, like they like baptized her, and then she joined their side, and they said she was the first Canaanite woman to basically convert and become an Israelite. And they said then she married someone from
infiltrated.
Yeah, and then she married someone from the tribe of Judah, and then from her Christ came. So she's Jesus' great grandmother. And if you go to Matthew chapter 1, I think verse 3 or 4 or 5, you'll see she's named there, married to Solomon.
Yeah.
And Jesus' genealogy. So that's why I preach, and you see how everything is connected.
You lost me there on a lot of it.
Yeah, man.
I did hear about the infiltration and, the whole house.
Yeah.
Need some water.
Some water over there. But should have got some earlier.
Well, I'm thinking, man. Need some water.
When it comes to the Bible, I don't know. It's a lot to take in.
I got some here. Nice and gotta wait.
Yeah. Nah, I'm gonna get some water.
Feeling lightheaded.
Alright, so we're gonna just stop.
It's the real world.